and welcome to Better with Age, the show where time doesn't age us, it refines us. Let's get started with our topic of the day. The movie Palms came out on Mother's Day weekend. It is about Martha, a woman who moves into a retirement community and starts a cheerleading squad with her fellow residents, Cheryl, Olive, and Alice, proving that it's never too late to follow your dreams. Many outlets confirm that the story is based on a real senior citizen cheerleading squad in Arizona. So let me ask you, Dr. Hart, would you consider joining a senior citizens group to stay fit?
I am so there. I can't even tell you. I absolutely think it would be a blast.
Yes.
The movie was so good, and I think the wonderful part about it was the sense of community that they had coming together like that. It was fantastic.
Yes, I think that it would be very supportive. And I also admire the fact that at that age, they still have a desire to stay fit. They still had a desire to be with a team. They still had a desire to seek something higher.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
And I think the movie itself was really about like kind of living your best self until the time of your passing.
Yes.
And that was just like tremendously touching because Martha, who was played by Diane Keaton, was fabulous. She was in the movie, this is a spoiler alert, in the movie she was dying of cancer.
Yeah.
But she made a decision that she was going to do her lifetime dream, which was to become a cheerleader.
Yeah.
And she just did a fantastic job motivating other people to kind of do the same thing. So it's kind of like taking a look at what's your bucket list.
Yes.
So, I don't know, Angie, do you have a bucket list?
I do. I had a few bucket lists. One of my bucket list things was to go jump out of a plane and go, yes.
Oh my
I jumped
God.
out with a parachute.
I was going to say, I'll do whatever you're doing, but I'm not
Skydiving, we did it. We did the skydiving. That was one of my bucket list things.
it.
I did it. And I was glad that I did it. So I know what it feels like to cross something off of your list that you always wanted to do. And at any age, but especially over 50. You feel like you still can accomplish some things. And I think that that's great. And I think that that was another premise for the movie, just accomplishes some things. And how many of us just give up when we get a diagnosis of any sort, cancer or whatever it may be? We just give up. We're not even looking to create a bucket list anymore. We're just looking to live out our days. So that took a lot of courage to do that. And it takes a lot of courage to do that.
Do you know the other part of that is it took a lot of courage for her because she really had to go kind of against the community who thought that she couldn't do it.
Yes.
So kind of like this kind of concept of ageism.
Yes.
And so, yeah, more power to her. It was beautiful.
Yes, and we fight that almost every day. You're often overlooked or invisible, and nobody thinks that you can do it. But it's such a gratifying feeling when you do it and you tell people about it. It's like, you did what? And that's how it was when we went skydiving. They couldn't believe that I would do that at my age. And I'm thinking, why not? And I would love to join a group of people who would be interested in defying the odds. I've always been that way, and I would want to continue to be that way, however old I am.
I think Bush Sr. did that in his 80s. He jumped out of
Yes,
a plane for the first
you're
time.
absolutely
So,
right.
yeah, kudos to him.
Yes, we saw a few senior citizens the day that we did it, so even older than myself. So that kind of encouraged me to even go forth and do it.
Well, you have more courage than I.
Yeah. But I think group fitness at my age and older is absolutely necessary because it encourages you to do more than maybe you even thought you could do. Yeah.
Speaking of fitness after 50, we have a guest who is a personal trainer, Jill Gutowski, who will be joining us right back after this message. Today we have a guest with us who is a personal trainer. Her name is Jill Gutowski, and we cannot wait to see her and talk to her and find out everything we need to know to take us through the next 30, 40 years.
I'm on it. I'm ready.
Okay.
Okay.
So, Jill, tell us, when did you get into fitness?
So, my fitness journey, actually, people often ask me, when did you start? You probably have been an athlete or you were a dancer or something like that when you were a kid, and that's actually the furthest from the truth. I wasn't able to, my mother didn't let me exercise and do like sports, you know, because she was pretty old-fashioned. So As soon as I turned 18, first thing I did was I joined a gym.
Mm.
Right. And so I've been, I did the whole 80s aerobics, Jane Fonda,
Yes.
living well lady type of thing. And then I went into yoga. I got interested. I've always had some anxiety or depression. And so I found that exercise was something that really helped me to feel good about myself and to be healthy. And then as I evolved from yoga, I started like around my 40s. I started to notice like, hey, I'm doing aerobics, I'm doing yoga. What's like this stuff? What's this stuff?
Yes.
I started going, wait, where does this come from? And so I started to revisit my, what I do, and I thought, what, I need to incorporate weight training. And so once I started with weight training and I started lifting heavy and getting into a routine of that, I started to notice very different changes in my body.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Jill, I heard you say lifting heavy.
Yes.
I know, so is that kind of like what you're recommending for women over 50? Do they
Yes.
have to lift heavy to kind of be able to make a difference?
Yes. So one of the things is that when you go to the gym, most people have at least gone to the gym once. You look in and you see all the men in the weight training section, and they're all pumping iron, and you see all the women on the cardio machines, and it actually, in my opinion, needs to flip-flop.
Okay.
Wow.
Or even the men need to get into the rooms and do like the yoga, and the women need to weight train. So lifting heavy means progressively overload. So if you start with 5 pounds, like say you're going to do something like a bicep curl, and you start with 5 pounds, then you should really try, 8 pounds. You should do several sets, and you should try to up the weight. Because what happens is the muscles need to be progressively overloaded in order for you to see the tone.
Yes.
Like in magazines, you see these fitness models, and they're holding these little pink little dumbbells, right? And meanwhile, they're all cut, and you're like, I want to look like her, But the reality is that fitness model is not lifting with little 5-pound weights. She's working probably with squats and deadlifts and shoulder presses and bench presses and pull-ups and things that you would normally associate with the men.
So speaking of men in the gym, and
Yes.
it is a little intimidating when you go
Yes.
over to that section,
Correct.
and the guys are slapping their muscles and making sounds.
That's what I do.
It is a little intimidating. So what would you suggest for somebody going over there for the first time?
Well, there is a learning curve. So it is good to get a personal trainer or somebody who can teach you the exercises and what to do and how many sets, which is actually what I do with people.
Okay.
But short of that, you can always start with some videos at home, and you can start with things like bands, which is, I think, what we're going to do later. But the thing with bands is that when you start with, a 5-pound band, you need to also have a 10-pound band and a 15-pound band and a 20-pound band. Because again, you want to lift heavy. Heavy is what creates tone, not like millions of reps. So we're talking about 12 to 15 reps per exercise, like bicep curls, and you want to lift heavy. That creates muscle.
And you recommend that for someone who's never done it on the first
Yes.
time? Okay.
Yes. You can start with wherever you're at. Say, you can start with 2 pounds. Then try 5 pounds. Try 8 pounds. Try to push yourself to feel, because one of the interesting research findings is that people choose weights that are actually lower than what they can handle. Right?
Yes, that would be.
A lot.
Yes.
2 pounds.
Yes.
But I think a lot of women are afraid to kind of go too high. They don't want to bulk up.
Bulk
they
up,
just
right.
want to tone.
Yes.
Thank you for
Yes.
asking. That's a great question, because that's a myth. Bulking up for a woman is a myth. Okay, because we're kind of see those pictures of bodybuilders, and you look at those women, and really that's an enhanced. That's not like natural. So for women, you're not going to bulk up. What you'll see is you'll start building muscle. You'll start leaning down, Because what happens is the more muscle tissue you have, the more you burn fat.
Yes.
And the more you burn fat at rest.
Yes.
Yes. So, in other words, if you go and you're on cardio all the time, cardio, you'll burn some fat, but you'll also burn some muscle.
Now I'm looking at your muscles, and
Yes.
so how long did it take you to define those?
Not long.
Okay.
It doesn't take long. I was, if you see pictures of me before, I look like a typical yoga lady.
Okay.
Like just
Lean, long
stringy.
muscles.
Yeah. But it wasn't like this is like all put on. This is from work.
Okay.
But it doesn't take you long if you apply yourself. In a couple months, you should see.
Wow.
Your physique changing.
But Jill, we hear an awful lot.
Right.
Doctors tell us, once you reach menopause, that's it. Bone mass
Right.
goes down. You can't.
Right.
You can't do anything.
Right.
So is that true?
Yes. What's true is that, over the age of 40, something that happens called sarcopenia, which is muscle wasting. It's like if you don't, it's like, use it or lose it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's the thing. So if you don't weight train, if you don't actively create muscle, your muscle is constantly deteriorating. That's why, if you were on bed rest, after a while, if you're on bed rest, you'd see those muscles atrophy. So we're always fighting against atrophy. It's not so much the menopause or the aging is the inactivity, or doing the wrong thing, doing a lot of cardio and dieting a lot.
Yeah.
Because you lose muscle.
Yeah. I feel like perhaps maybe I was one of those thinkers that thought it was too late.
Me too.
So
Right.
I want to know, what will it take for me to go from this to this? Is there hope?
There's always hope, and you're
Okay.
never too old.
Okay.
I have most of my clients are over the age of 40, and predominantly they're in between 55 and 70.
Okay.
Okay. I've even had 80-year-olds that I've worked with, people that have gone from not being able to stand up straight to be able to row 20-pound dumbbells.
Okay.
We're meeting her.
Yes.
Every Friday night.
Yes. So the thing is this. The thing that most people say to me, clients, is like, wow, this is work.
Yeah.
So if you're willing to put the work in and you know what kind of work to do, then your muscles will build. Whether you're 18 or 88, you can build your muscle.
Now, I have some knee issues, and a
Yes.
lot of people my age do have knee issues.
Everybody has a something.
Okay. So what would you suggest for people with knee issues? Do you have specific workouts for that?
What I do is I help people work in alignment, because that's the other thing. You can go to the gym and you can see somebody, doing an exercise incorrectly that can put extra pressure on the knees.
Yes.
But having a knee issue, having a shoulder issue, having a wrist issue, having a low back issue, having an elbow issue, everybody's got something.
Yeah.
You can't allow that to hold you back.
Yeah.
So if you learn how to do it correctly, then we do the things that make it better, and then we don't do the things that make it feel worse.
Okay.
And one of the things, like weighted squats, you'll build up your muscles in your butt.
Okay.
Oh,
Your
nice.
butt will help stabilize your knees.
And I need that. Yeah.
Don't we all? We all do.
Yeah.
There is no way we can let you go without talking about the muffin top.
Yes, okay, the muffin top.
Yes. Tell us, we all know how it comes. How do we get rid of it?
Right. So one of the things is that along with the progressive overload of the exercise is eating protein. That's probably one of the things that I can say that can help, because the essential amino acids that you get in protein, our bodies don't make them. So you have to take it in from your diet. So eating protein at every meal, just like a little serving, chicken, fish, tuna, beef, lean stuff, will help you to build the muscle. You build the muscle and you reorganize your physique. So you'll see your stomach. You can't spot train. You can't spot train your belly by doing a bunch of crunches. You have to lift heavy, and you have
I
to
did that last night.
right, and you have to eat protein, and along with protein, lots and lots of vegetables. I don't recommend that you cut out like carbs or you cut out protein or you cut out fat because that's not sustainable. It has to be like I can have you lose weight,
Yeah.
but is it sustainable?
Yes.
That's the thing, because you can lose and gain more.
Yes, and that has been my issue, up and down, and I
Yes.
know that that's not healthy.
Right.
But Jill, tell me, a person who has a sedentary job or career and is always sitting,
Yes.
is there something you can do throughout your day to get up and do, save yourself?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, you just have to get moving, but as I was saying to someone just recently, they do the cardio and then maybe the weights. They've got to do the weights first and then do your walking and your cardio and your stretching later.
Jill, we can keep you here all day.
And I can talk all day. I would love to. You guys are so amazing to talk to.
But we're going to wrap this up, and we thank you for coming.
Thank you for having
Thank
me.
you for
Thank
all
you for
that
inviting
wonderful
me.
advice. And for this advice and any advice that our guests have, make sure to visit us on Better with Age, our website. Thank you. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Jill Gutowski, and I'm here to do a very simple workout with Angie and Lori. And we're going to use the bands. The bands are very useful. They can be progressively overloaded, as I said in the earlier segment, and each color is a different weight. So we're going to start, first of all, with posture. This is one of the most important things for beginners. You want to lift your chest up, pull your head back, and slide your shoulder blades down to your back. Now, if you do that, then you'll likely be alignment for the exercises. So the first exercise that we're going to do is to step on the band with both feet. Give yourself a little bit of space because we're going to do a squat. As I said, we have to do big muscle exercises and burn as much fat as possible. So you're going to take the band handles right to your chest like this, interlace your fingers, and then sit back like you're sitting back on a chair, dunking your butt down, and then stand up and press up and exhale. And then you can inhale down, good, and exhale up. And Angie, since you have a knee issue, you just want to lean back. And then you sit back, and then you come up. Okay, good. So that's squat with a press. Next, we're going to do a lunge with the shoulder press. So let's all do on our left foot so we look all nice and coordinated. And then you'll bring your hands back behind you just like that. So be on your back toes and make sure that you're not on a tightrope so your feet are not one behind the other. All right, I'll show you first. Down and then press up. Down and press up. And you want to press with your front heel. Try to stay back a little bit further so that your knee doesn't come in front of the toes. So even further back, up, good. Go ahead, down, yes, and up.
Oh, that's too hard.
Bring your hands down, but it's worth it
Yes,
because
okay.
you won't hurt your knee. Good, and up. And then let's do the other side because we don't want to be lopsided. So step the other foot, step back. Bring your hands back. Okay, here we go. Straight down and then straight up. And make sure you exhale. When you exhale, squeeze your belly in.
Jeez.
So let's try a deadlift. So you want to hold a little bit closer down on your band, not on the handles. Step both feet on, but feet a little bit closer together. Okay, so this is like pulling up your pantyhose.
Ooh.
Not that we wear pantyhose
No,
anymore,
no.
but we're of the age
That we did.
So you're going to slide down your legs, stick your butt out and your chest out, and then stand up. Pull up. And then down. Slide down. Pull up the pants. And then down. Let your knees bend naturally. Good. And up. This is deadlift with an upright row. Remember, not a squat. Hinge at the hips. So booty has to be out.
Okay.
Chest has to be out.
Not a
Good.
squat.
Yes, not a squat. Hinge right here at the hip. So a lot of women avoid chest, but chest is really important to balance out your physique, and it also gives the ladies a little lift.
Yes.
If you know what I mean.
Yes.
Okay, so you're gonna scoop forward and down. And scoop, bend your knee a little bit, yep, and down. So you feel it, you squeeze your chest muscles, and you can feel that, right?
Yes.
And you'll also feel it in your core. You'll feel you have to tighten your belly. Now we do a lateral raise. Let's do the other foot. Hold the handles with a slight bend in your elbows out to the sides, because what we're going to do is go out to the sides, and you might not come up very high. Just lift with your elbows. 1 and down and out. Perfect. And down and out. Wow. And down. Maybe not so high. Just there you go. Good. Now you feel that, and that gets a nice shape to the shoulders. Yes. And when the shoulders look a little bit wider, the waist looks a little bit smaller.
Oh, is that the trick?
That's the trick. You build up the shoulders and you build up the booty.
Yes.
And you whittle down the waist. Good.
Yes.
One more. So that's a basic workout that will get you started and get you building your muscles and burning fat. And thank you for having me. I'm so grateful to both of you for this opportunity to teach.
Thank you for
Number
joining
50.
us.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we're back. Joining us now is a phenomenal writer and producer, Miss Bethel Bates. How are you doing today, Miss Bates?
How are you? I'm wonderful.
I'm doing absolutely
wonderful.
great. I've seen your body of work, and you are a busy lady. How do you do it all? How do you manage everything?
I don't give too much thought to it.
Okay.
You think about it too much, it'll deter you.
Okay, so I know.
So I just jump in and start doing it. I don't know. I
Yes.
don't know how I'm doing it really. You know,
if you thought
by the
about
grace of
it.
God, I'm being
Yes,
carried. I would
yes.
like to say. I would
Yes.
like to say.
Can you share with us what you are doing right now?
Right now, I want to say I'm working on a documentary. As a matter of fact, we have 2 more shoots, and then we'll be wrapping up, and we'll be going to the editing stage. And the documentary is called "The Condemned Free," and it sheds light on mass incarceration, racial profiling, and the recidivism rate in America and in Philadelphia.
Now, what influenced you to do that?
Just it's been a burden of mine. I have a brother that was incarcerated for 20 years. I have family members and friends. If you're black in America, you know someone.
Yes.
You may know several people that have been falsely accused of a crime,
Yes.
or as a matter of fact, a cousin of mine just got out of prison 2 weeks ago. You may have under the new laws of under Larry Krasner.
Oh, yes.
I want to say he was released from jail doing 17 years. He's done, and convicted of a crime that he did not commit.
So I know that you're doing plays, documentaries, writing books. Tell me, do you do this as a career, or is there another career surfacing somewhere in here?
Well, yeah, I do. Okay, so I write as a passion.
Okay.
That is my passion.
Okay.
I've been writing, I want to say, since I was a child. I always journaled, always kept a diary as a young person, and never knew what I was going to do with it. But as I grew older, I realized that it was just a part of my life.
Yes.
You know, everything else would change and not be consistent,
Okay.
except the writing.
Okay.
So you're
And-
inspired by your real experiences ever since childhood, really.
Yes, yes. I'm inspired by people. I'm inspired by, their stories. Yes, and so it's an inspiration. The urban experience is what inspires me. And so I do have another job that I do, and I work by night I'm a forensic science technician.
Okay.
I work
that's
with the
impressive.
Philadelphia Police Department.
Wow.
I've been with them I'm going into my 20th year.
Wow. So would you advise anybody who wants to write a book or a play to maintain a full-time career, to fund their ideas on writing a book or doing a play? Or should they just jump in?
Well, if you have other means of, other ways to get money, yes, I would have, it wouldn't be that serious. But if not, yes, you would need a full-time job because even with the plays and things of that nature, the writing of the book, it takes money to publish a book. Unless you go through one of the traditional publishing houses.
Yes.
And it's very hard to, a lot of the publishing houses, they, I might say they may not look upon urban writing
Yes.
with a smile. So it may be hard to get into a traditional publishing house. And that's why, publishing, self-publishing is the route that I went.
Yes.
Because I wanted to tell the story how I wanted to tell it.
Yes.
And I didn't think I needed a publishing house to tell me that my story is not good.
Yes.
So your book is out there. People can find it?
Yes, I have Hot Butter Biscuits and Jam,
Oh, love that name.
The Memoirs of Seven. And that book basically is about a lady who is trying to break generational curses that has been placed upon her. It plagued her grandmother, her mother, and herself on how they went about choosing men. They all chose men that were no good for them, and she
Okay.
wanted to break the curse. So,
Okay.
Hot Butter Biscuits and Jam. And then I have Insignificantly Unique.
Okay.
That book is about really the love that a sister and a brother shared. After their father died, they were abandoned by their mother. And Unique, who the story is based around, at 14 years old, was left with raising a 10-year-old brother. And it follows their journey. So, yeah, and you can get both of those books are on, you can go through Amazon, iUniverse, Barnes and Noble, any of those online. You can look them up.
And those books, were they inspired by true stories?
Somewhat.
Yes.
Somewhat. I mean, we all know characters, like the
Yes.
characters that are in the book, I will say. You can relatively associate with them.
So here's your tough question for the day. They say that in every book that a writer writes, there's a character that represents who they are. Can we find you in these books?
You may be able to recognize me in Hot Butter Biscuits and Jam. You may
All right,
be
I'm
able
gonna be
to.
looking for that.
Now, before we let you go, I want to know what inspired you to start a production company, along with your writing and playwriting.
Well, my career job actually inspired that. I want to say, so working in that field, forensics, you see a lot of cases that come through where young black men are being murdered on the streets every day. This was my thinking. So when I originally started the Garden of Eden Productions, I wanted to, it started off as a theater, a community theater format, in which, I felt like if I could get some young boys in here to act out, use this platform as a way for them to exert energy. I mean, because in theater you can be who you want. If you want to be a liar, a thief, a crook, you can be all those things. But let's come into the theater and act it out.
Yes.
But the young men weren't coming. It's a stigma, some kind of way. Boys are not don't attach themselves to theater like girls do. So
We are losing a lot of our young people, and I think that is a perfect platform to regain some trust so they can regain trust in us. Well, we're running out of time, and we want to thank Miss Bates for coming out today. You were phenomenal, and you are amazing. You're an amazing woman. So thank you to our wonderful guests, and we thank you for watching. And be sure to follow Better with Age on our website to get information about all our guests today and catch us the next time on Better with Age.